The spirit of Caldera di Baranzi, one of Lord Raderick's unfortunate victims, has directed me towards Caed where I will find a man named Merwald. Caldera has informed me that I have become something known as a Watcher, and that this Merwald is a Watcher as well. Perhaps he can tell me more about what's happening to me. Caed is southwest of Gilded Vale, past the Black Meadow. I will have to travel there if I'm to speak with Merwald. On my map. Perhaps a day away? Defiance Bay is not that far from here either. Deerford Village. Alright then. It's evening. But I think, before heading back down into the temple ruins, visiting the Smithy might help. There may be something he can provide me with. Just about anything would help. And if I can't buy anything off him, maybe I'll have something to save up for. Yes, I don't have much coin. 140 or so. It's a pretty worn place. Hello. This Amawa man is an impressive build, towering above the countertop. His skin is the dusky blue of the deeper oceans, and his thick arms boast corded muscle. Small ears frame a square jaw face coated in smeared soot and arcing black tattoos alike. He offers you a broad smile as you approach. Welcome, you're the first new face I've seen in quite some time. What can I do for you? Is this your shop? That it is. Been here near on 20 years now. Seen all manner of things over the years. Good luck and bad. He glances at the guard standing watch along the wall, but the Blackhammer Smithy remains. What do you have here? You come to us at a strange time, I'm afraid. The stock's not what it used to be, but we've fine weapons and armor to offer yet. All forged right here at the Blackhammer. What happened? We just don't have the supplies. Been expecting the next delivery for near on a week now, and haven't seen a sign of it. Have to expect they were hit by bandits. The road out east is crawling with them. Or my workers ran off with the wagon themselves. Maybe to make some coin? He snorts, as if that lot would dare. He's right about the bandits. The dire situation in the villages like this and the exodus to the cities has created far too many opportunities for unscrupulous sorts. I've learned this firsthand, actually. The blacksmith scratches his jaw, thinking, well, if you happen to be headed that way, maybe you could keep an eye out for a supply wagon, or my shipment, at least. They'd be cutting through the Black Meadow, I expect. Only good road for it. As it is, most of our weapons go to His Grace, Lord Raderick. He glances at the nearby guard. And that's as it should be, but it doesn't leave much for outsiders. We just don't have the iron. Where was the wagon traveling from? We send the wagon up to New Hiomar with weapons, and it swings around through Logholm and the like to purchase supplies. Shortest route back is through the Black Meadow, and then north through the wilds. He shakes his head. Had a trader come through with word they made it to Logholm, but haven't heard a thing since. It's work. I'll see them back safe and sound. I'd appreciate your trying, anyhow. You bring back the supplies, at least, and I'll have much more to offer you. A discount to start, and if you do find my workers, you give them a good smack upside the head for me. Probably bandits, but if I can make some money off of this, it's another job. Anyhow,
Good day,
I
stranger.
would like to see what you have. Of course, you won't find any finer anywhere else. Very expensive. A lance? Not that I'd be able to afford that anytime soon. I have a crossbow. Another great sword. Did lose mine, but starting to like this sword that I have. Breastplate. Something I could wear. And there's mail armor and scale armor. Breastplate is obviously would be better, but heavier than the scale armor. Magical rings. Magical cape. Rope and grappling hook. I wonder if I could use that if I went back up north. And a pry bar. Effective for prying open certain types of containers, but not especially useful on doors due to the uneven and narrow distribution of its leverage. Well, if I could stay at the inn anytime. Camping supplies, well, we have, I think, 4 of those. But this rope and grappling hook I'll buy. Doesn't leave me much left, but I'll come back for the pry bar another time. Hello? Oh, okay. I don't need to see this about everybody I encounter. Though it seems that everybody I get near just seem to be overly sensitive lately. Usually I can hold it back better than this. The bellows sigh into the furnace, and the coals burn brighter still. As the apprentice. If you want to buy something, it's Tantuo you should speak to. Also, that's his name. The guard. Lord Radrick himself looks to the smithy for supplies. Dented and dull, these swords look ready for the forge. You hear those bells? Guess it's bad news. It usually is. Well, that could help. If only we had a fighter to join with us. That Edric seems to be one. I don't know what he's doing. Just standing there, smoking his pipe. We did pass... Let's go to this windmill. I'm not sure if there's anything here, but you never know. Oh, what's going on here? We know there's more grain in there, Trumbell. We won't settle for scraps while you grow fat in our crops. A muffled shouting emerges from the inside of the mill. The first of you drunkards comes through that door gets a shot between the eyes. Gods hear me, Swainer. I'll put you down like a dog. Come away for now, lads. We'll be back. Trumbell? And we'll have fair prices, or by the flame, we'll have reckoning. That's interesting. This place is falling apart. It truly is. Some of the farmers in the Gilded Vale claim that Trumbell, the miller, is withholding grain. The hungry farmers are on the edge, and it seems that the situation will escalate. It seems that tensions between the miller and some local farmers are reaching a boiling point. It may be worth investigating. The miller has taken refuge inside his mill, and the farmers have headed to the local inn for the time being. Let's see about that. An elven man stands before you. His relatively stocky build suggests a life of labor. His face is pale and drawn, his eyes wide. Behind him, a younger man and woman exchange worried glances. The miller raises a club as you enter. It shakes violently in his grip. Get back if you value your life! Hold on, I'm not here to hurt anyone. The miller hesitates and lowers the club. Wait, I know you. You just came into town, right? Don't tell me Swainer's already got his claws into you. Gods, that's all I need. What was all that ruckus outside? He shakes his head. Where to begin? Swainer whipped them up into a froth, going on about the grain stores. Claims I've hidden away most of it. All I do with the grain is sell it. I don't create it out of thin air, and I can't hand it out for free. I pay the farmers for the crops they bring in, and I sell what comes out of the mill. Most of it goes to the Black Hound on the west side of town for ale, and Swainer and his lot sure don't mind that part. You take a look at the fields on the way into town, the crop's blighted, and most of what I'm getting from the farmers, he gestures at the sacks and containers, it's gone off, rotted through. I can't pay top prices for blighted wheat, and I've barely got enough good grain to go around. Swainer's howling after things he has no right to. Seems like a pretty clean story for a messy situation. He frowns. It's not. He paused. Look, Swainer's always been a rotten bastard. With stores so limited, maybe I save the good stuff for people who deserve it. Offra, for instance. She's expecting a child. Should I let her starve instead? Maybe I ought to have a talk with Swainer, then. The miller all but sags with relief. I'd be grateful if you did. He won't listen to me anymore, but maybe you'll have a better luck. Tell him we're all having a hard time of it, and we'll all have to make some sacrifices. We'll be in your debt for it, if you can convince him. A rancid stench rises from this grain. It's mushy and mottled with green. So, Some grain right here. Watch yourself. We hang things... Oh, sorry. It's just grain? I never crossed my mind. I guess so. I should have watched that. It wasn't something I was thinking of. We'll go speak to Swainer. I think he went off to the inn, did he not? Before we go there, I think I would like to go to Offra's house. Let's see if she has anything to say. She's pregnant. She's about to give birth. Hello. A Derwidian woman is standing in front of the fireplace, humming a quiet tune to herself, or perhaps to her unborn child, for she is clearly quite pregnant. She turns her head slightly as you enter.
Hello.
Well, finally, I was starting to think. The woman makes a startled noise once she turns around and sees you. Oh, I'm sorry, I was expecting someone else. She gives you a cautious smile. Can I help you? I just arrived in Gilded Vale. I thought I'd get to know the locals. Were you with one of the caravans? She looks at me hopefully. Master Odemas by chance? I was, yes. I'm afraid that the rest of the caravan was killed. Offra covers her mouth with a hand, eyes wide with horror. For a few moments she can manage nothing but a strangled, voiceless gasping and her eyes brimming with tears. I knew it. I told her it was a dangerous path to take. Kaliska was always so certain she could take on any danger. She sniffs. Oh, my poor sister. I'm sorry, stranger. I can't believe she's gone. If only I hadn't called her here. If I hadn't written to her, she might still be alive somewhere. Her face crumples, and a solitary tear slides down her cheek. Kaliska mentioned that she thought you needed help. Perhaps I can provide some assistance. She looks at me with some surprise before dabbing her nose with her sleeve. That's kind of you to offer, but I don't know if I could impose this on you. It's not a small favor. She wipes at her eyes. I'm worried about the baby, about the legacy. I told Kaliska as much as I could, but all I know is that for a long time now, every child born in the Gilded Vale has been soulless, empty. It's happened to so many mothers, and Lord Rhetoric, he's exiled all of them, calling it a sign of the gods' disfavor. She sniffs. With my Hathort gone, I don't know how I'd manage if I lost my home too. I hope Kaliska could help me. They say Ranja, the old midwife, knows a way to prevent a child being hollowborn, but she moved south to Anslog's compass 2 seasons ago. The journey's too far for me. I can't make it as I am, but I don't have anyone else now, with Kaliska gone. More tears run down her face. Please, can you help me? I do feel a little bit indebted to Kaliska for her help. Normally I wouldn't do this, but I'll find Ranja for you. She blinks, eyes wide. You will? Oh, gods bless you. Here, I'll give you a coin to pay her with. You needn't trouble yourself with that. I think it's a drink she fashions out of... Well, I'm not sure, but it shouldn't be too much of a burden to carry back. Anselog's Compass is what we call the lagoon to the south. You'll have to cross the wilds to get there. That's what keeps me from trying it myself. She clasps her hands together. Thank you again, truly. You'll be saving us both. She sets a hand on her stomach, smiling through her tears. This worn, dog-eared book is titled Travels Upon the Selglas Sea. There is an etched illustration of a vast fin leviathan. Oh, nice cat. Let's leave. So, we have the ruins. There's 4 things for us to do. 5 things if you count that surly dwarf we need to go speak to. We'll do that right now, since the inn is right here. If I can find that ugly mug of his again. I need to go down here. Well, I don't see him in here. Hello, Pasca. Very large table. silver loose. The Fangs. This is the group that attacked us out in the wilds, actually. Kaliska mentioned that they're Fangs. I'd like to know more about them. As I have stated, not much is known about this group by the world at large because they don't welcome outsiders into their numbers. While many believe they are xenophobic and openly hostile to all who enter Eder Glanfath, the truth doesn't seem to be as broad or deadly, and certainly not that simple. There are many places in Eder Glanfath that could be called magical or sacred to the Glanfathans. One legend states that the Engwithans, who had suddenly abandoned their kingdom and left for places unknown, took the time to guide the ancient Glanfathan tribes into the now vacant land. The Glanfathans were instructed to protect the Engwithan ruins until such time as they could return and reclaim the ruins. They were required to swear that no living person, including the Glanfathans themselves, would be permitted entrance into the ruins. Differing accounts suggest that the Glanfathans were promised more with the homeland than that the Engwithans were the favored people of the gods, and that keeping their oath would confer similar benefits to the Glanfathans in the end. Oddly, the rules do not seem to apply as strictly within the borders of the Twin Elms, a site upon which a large concentration of Engwithan structures are situated, but it would seem that this is unlikely a selective oversight on the part of the Glanfathans and more probably part of the terms of the original compact. In any case, the Glanfathans come to take their role as guardians seriously, revering the sites and developing rituals designed to protect and guard the ruins. Over time, these rituals became rote formality to some, as much legend and superstition as any other stories passed down. This is not to say the Glanfathans ceased all attempts to uphold their oath. See the section about the 10 Years' Treaties in my book about Adamith Hadred. But the intense devotion to the oath tended to vary from tribe to tribe and clan to clan. Not so much with the Fangs, however. The Fangs are a group joined not by ties of kinship or even community, but of belief. Of all the groups of Eder Glanfath, it is the Fangs who seem most intent on keeping the promise their ancient ancestors made to the Engwithans. Just because their fanaticism and zeal are not as widely sweeping as many think does not make them any less dangerous. The Fangs are not known to reason with those who view as transgressors. If they feel you have in any way violated the sanctity of a sacred place, their judgment is swift and exact. Reports of the Fangs' attacks can be found in records dating back to the first colonial explorations of Eder Glanfath, and even the smallest of perceived slight can be worthy of execution. The order itself seems to consist mainly of hunters. Whether they are recruited as skilled hunters or trained once they gain access to the order, it is unknown. From all accounts, once they join the Fangs, hunting game falls second behind patrolling Eder Glanfath and protecting the ruins, so it is the author's opinion that it is the former. That explains much, actually. Where is that little dwarf? No, I don't mean the cook in the back. I don't know where he went. Oh, I see him over there. Pass right by him.
Good day to you.
Don't know who you are. Don't much care. Keep walking. We're not here to chat with foreigners. Aloth narrows his eyes. Careful. Looks like they're cut from the same cloth as those rowdies who attacked me. He wrinkles his nose. Smells like it too. Trumbull says you've been threatening his family. Oh, I bet he has. All nobility, that Trumbull. 2 big, strong kids, pure soul in all of Gilded Vale. He sneers. Coward sending out messengers to handle his business? Well, you can go and tell him we haven't had a solid meal in days on account of him, and we can't afford a good drink on account of him, but we won't be bullied by some foreigner on account of him. What if I buy you all around? Will you talk to me then? He considers it briefly. He looks to the others. Fair enough. You bring us something to wet our throats? It might be I'll feel up to trading words. I have enough beer on me, I think, don't I?
Hail and well met.
I bought drinks. Hey, so you have. By the flame, I never thought I'd be so happy for a mug of the Blackhound shit beer. Gods, that's good. All right, then. You've got my attention. What is it you've got to say that's worth a round of drinks? Look, there's no sense in threatening the miller. You have him up against a wall. Maybe you could ask some of the other villagers for help. He eyes me for a few long moments, drinking deep from his mug. Then he sighs. You're right. Things go on like they are. We're just going to end up hanging from that tree out there. He looks to his comrades. Tell Trumbull we'll leave him be. Don't know what we'll do now, with the crops failing. Haven't got another trade to speak of. Think Pasca needs a hand around the inn? I don't know, but it would seem that I've helped the situation here. Fucking magistrate, half of us starving, and he doesn't lift a finger. I don't blame you for being angry at the man. He seems like a scoundrel to me. Now, if he's a scoundrel, I can't imagine what the Lord is like. Pasca?
Good day, stranger.
For now, I don't think we have anything else to speak about. Oh, that's some laughter going on. I think I'm going to try to speak to that man smoking his pipe again. One more time. Maybe I can talk him into actually helping us. Oh, he should be right here. Pretty social for someone who's hiding something. You gonna tell me what that business by the tree was, or do I gotta guess? Cat's out of the bag, I guess. Do you know what a watcher is?
Careful, friend. Let's not use that word round here. Could be any number of Radric bootlickers within earshot. Ciphers, animancers, watchers. Same thing in the eyes of folks around here, Radric especially. They come through these parts all the time with their cures, preying on the desperate. None of them are who they claim to be.
This is why I didn't want to go around saying it openly, but he already guessed something was up with me, so I felt like I had to come clean, especially if I'm going to get any assistance out of the man. He's not one of Radric's goons, so it's not like there's much work going on around here, and I could use the help.
Of course, seeing you with that funny look, I'd be halfway inclined to believe you were having some kind of communion with that dwarf. Either case, maybe I'm not 19 after all. No offense.
You think you're going to be hanged?
The town's had it in for me for a long time now. Only fellow who ever stuck up for me, well, he's number 18 up there. My headman on the farm. Used to be my captain during the war.
The war? Yes. Well, tell me your side of it. Saints' War. Only one in my lifetime. Fella decides he's the living incarnation of Eothas, overthrows Riad Surus, marches on Durwood. So we gave him a Durwoodian hello. I can only guess what a Durwoodian hello is.
We blew him up.
He smiles at this, but it is the smile of one recounting a joke for effect rather than enjoyment. Eothas was Saint... what was his name? God of Rebirth and Redemption, formerly anyhow. Maybe they call him something different where you're from. Yes, he was a man, a farmer. I had other questions. Why was your headman hanged? Got involved? Radric sent men down here the other day, said they had it on good authority someone in town was working with Kolsk, plotting Radric's overthrow. Said if he didn't come forward right then and there, they'd hang every last one of us. No one was coming forward. So, Swithin, that's my headman. He steps up and says it's him. They took him at his word. He sighs and shakes his head and his eyes fix on the tree. Bound to happen sooner or later. It's, if not for plotting against Radric, then for protecting me. What does your town have against you?
Pick the wrong god. That's what it comes down to. Used to be a lot of Aethys worshippers in Gilded Vale. That mess of rocks over there, that was a temple to him, to give you some idea.
Yeah, I know about that.
Then one day, somebody named Widewind shows up on Deerwood's doorstep. Says he's the living flesh of Aethys. Got an army with him. Suddenly, Aethys isn't so popular in these parts. My brother Woden and me, neither of us believed it. No way was that Aethys. He enlisted, then I did too. But, he didn't make it back.
That was his name, Lodwin, the farmer, living embodiment of the god.
After the war, people took to punishing Aethys worshippers, accusing them of treason. Got real ugly, especially after the legacy started. Folks needed someone to blame. I was safe because I fought, but then this rumor starts that my brother, that he was on the wrong side. And I wasn't so safe anymore. Until my headman stepped in and said they'd have to hang him to get to me. Seems that's no longer a concern. Of course, The townies don't do the hanging these days, but when Raedric's men come, they got no problem doing the pointing.
Elof glances at me and lowers his voice. You can see why I was eager to leave. Who's Kolsk? Someone who got tired of all the hangings. He's on the run now. Probably will be till they catch him. If you're to be hanged next, why are you still here? He gives a half smile. Drinking, mostly. Point of fact, I'm on my way out. Just haven't figured out where I'm going yet. Not a whole lot of places out there that don't think Waidwin's legacy started with Waidwin. Could travel together. Where are you headed? Someplace called Caed Nua. There's an old watcher there who might be able to help me.
Seem to remember hearing something about that years ago. He tamed that place. People would seek him out for all kinds of things. Troubles of the soul, questions for the departed. Of course, that was back when you didn't have to say watcher with a hush on your breath. A man such as that, there'd be things I'd want to ask him. Don't know why I never thought of it before. Not sure how I feel about setting out with a stranger, and a strange one at that. But, truth be told, you might be the only one in town who wouldn't feel some relief seeing me swing from that tree.
There's no point in you hanging around here, then. There's a fine reason if I ever heard one.
All right, then. Guess I'll do some sightseeing. Long as you're not the one picking the sights.
He tilts his head forward and gives me a pointed look. Let's get going. New companion. I think that this is the fighter we've been looking for. We should be able to head right into the ruins now.